Hi, everybody. Happy Thursday. It's a bad week. It's been a bad week in the United States. Um, Bad couple of days. Well, we had Taylor Swift getting engaged. That was exciting. I actually want to talk about that. Um, I am big in my feelings today. I don't know if everybody else is, if it's just me. And it's funny because 2 weeks ago, I wrote the article that is leading to this live show. Feelings are just feelings, they're not facts. And it's so easy to confuse our feelings for truth, but they're just feelings. They don't define us. We don't have to be what the feelings are. We can feel the feelings and move through them. And then last night, I crashed deep down bad into my feelings. And turns out I need this conversation just as much as hopefully you do if you're here. So I'm glad you're here. My name is Heather Vickery. I'm a transformation coach. I help people go from where they are to where they want to be by learning to deeply and completely know, like, and trust themselves, and then reprogram all the bullshit that society has put on you and told you you should do or have to do or need to be so that you can lead a life that is filled with embodied joy. I specifically do that through human design and NLP work, subconscious reprogramming. I host retreats all over the world. We have one coming up in January in Costa Rica. If you're curious and you're ready to take a big step towards loving yourself in a big way, I'd love to have you join us. But I also do smaller things. I have the Spark Collective, which is an $18 a month membership that's designed to meet you in the cracks of life, like where you need to find time to show up for yourself. It's there for you. There's weekly journal prompts, accountability, check in, as well as a content library filled with all sorts of resources, quick win mini courses, human design stuff. We have subliminal audios in there, hypnosis, all kinds of things that are all designed to be consumed or 10 or 15 minutes or less. Hello, welcome. Glad you're here. So there's that. I also do one-on-one retainer client coaching. I have the Mind Shift Mastery, which is 6 sessions of subconscious reprogramming partnered with human design. I do human design reading. So lots of different ways to show up and support you. In addition to this weekly live show, I'm here every Thursday at 12 p.m. Central, completely live and free. And then I also do Ask Me Anything office hours on Tuesday. So if you're curious to know more, or you just want to chat, or you want to connect, the link is in my bio, and you can join me on Tuesday for Ask Me Anything office hours. We're going to talk a lot about feelings today, and I feel like there are just so many of them. First and foremost, I want to address um, yesterday's mass shooting. School just started. Here we are again. I have so much to say, and I have nothing to say. I'm at a loss for words. Um, it's I sent my kids to school yesterday too. I saw a photo on TikTok of a mother with her shoes off running to her child that had been in the school. And I was like, if there were a picture of America in the dictionary, that would be it. Running to see if your child has been killed in a school shooting. Welcome to America. So big feelings for that. And then also I think seasonally, as things change seasonally, um I have big feelings. And as literally barometrically as the pressure changes, um that impacts me physically, which impacts my emotions. So you guys can be aware of that too. I have all sorts of actual stuff that I prepped and planned. Um, just a lot. And then, I'm having as much fun as the next person with the Taylor Travis engagement thing. But this is fascinating to me. Um, it's fascinating to me, the comments like, our girl finally did it. She finally got there. Like, is do we still live in a society where getting married is end goals? Because I find that fascinating. She's one of the most famous people in the entire world. She's this incredible career that she built on her own. Yes, I know she's a nepo baby, but she did the work. Like, she is an artist. She works really, really hard for her success. And is she perfect? Absolutely not. And there's plenty of criticism, and I'm here for all of it. And there can be all of that. That's not my point. But my point is, we're more excited. I don't know. I'm happy for them. I'm excited for them. They're happy. I'm happy. But I I don't want that for my girls. I don't want the biggest, most exciting thing in their life to be finally getting married. But maybe I'm just in my feelings. I don't know, y'all. So maybe if you're here, type in the comments, type in the chat. What what are your feelings right now? What are you feeling in general right now? What's showing up for you? Often we confuse our feelings for who we are, for our identity. And so we say things like I am anxious, I am angry, I am not enough, I am sad. And we're feeling those, but they don't define you. So I have been working and sharing and supporting clients and saying, I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling like I'm not enough, because your subconscious is listening to that. And it's one thing to have an emotion and be processing that emotion, and it's a whole other thing to identify with that emotion. And then when we do that, when we identify with them, then we tend to shove them down and put them in a corner and not process them. So I have been down bad in my feelings, big feelings the last, I don't know, maybe 18 hours. And so here are some things that I know about myself when I am in that space. Um, I need solitude. I don't ask me any questions, don't talk to me, like, just give me space to process. I have to feel them, and most people do. I have to feel all of my emotions so that they can move through my body, and I give myself the space and the time that I need to be in them, to roll around in them. Last night, I felt so sad, I couldn't even take a bath, and I love to take a bath and read a book, so that tells you just, like, how, I wasn't doing well. I'm better today taking this process. I want everyone to know that your feelings are super important and you can connect with them and you need to feel them in order to heal them and look at them objectively. No sound. Danielle, no sound. No sound? Huh. You guys can hear me on Substack, right? Because people are commenting. Somebody said no fucking way, but I don't know what she said that about. So I'm not sure. Oh, and I'm sorry on Instagram and YouTube, or not Instagram, YouTube and LinkedIn. You just had my finger in there. Can you hear me now, Danielle? There you go. Okay. Well, sorry, folks. Um, we're talking about feelings. Feelings are not facts. Feelings are just feelings. And it's really, really important that you allow yourself to feel them, that you let them move through you, that you honor them and get curious about them. So don't judge yourself for how you're feeling. Let it inform you. Your feelings are a really beautiful way to inform you of what's going on both internally in your body, somatically, and externally, and in your mind and in the world around you. And you want to honor that. That's just super important. I also I want to address the fact that healing past emotions, past traumas doesn't have to always include suffering. You don't have to necessarily force yourself to go back and visit past painful experiences. You don't have to just suck it up and get over it. That may not be the right thing for you. It may be in some cases, but I want you all to really inspect that and decide for yourself. Don't let somebody else tell you how you need to process your feelings and how you are going to let things go. One of the things that I love about subconscious reprogramming, and in specific, the time techniques, which I use with clients, is that you can release negative thoughts, feelings, decisions, beliefs without having to necessarily revisit specific past memories. And that's a gift because sometimes you don't want to reassociate with those memories. But we build up on this. I mean, I've had so many people and oh, this is so fascinating. Um, in human design manifestors, their not self theme is anger. And I have had so many people that I've worked with who say, "Oh, I'm an angry person." They've been identified as an angry person over and over in their lives. And I would like to remind people that it's not who you are. It is your not self. It is a sign that um, you're not making aligned decisions. You're not trusting yourself. You're not using your sacral authority, your hell yes or your fuck no. Actually, a manifestor doesn't have a sacral authority, but a manifesting generator does. But you're not listening to your authority. You're making decisions that are unaligned for you, whether that's your emotional solar plexus, which means you have an emotional wave, or your spleen. Um, you aren't designed to be angry. That's your sign that something's off, right? Anger is a secondary emotion. It doesn't define who you are. Being sad right now, I'm feeling very, very sad. And I could list a gazillion reasons why. I started with them. I'm sorry y'all couldn't hear it on TikTok. Um, and they're true. I remember years ago when I was first going through my divorce, my then spouse really wanted me to get on meds. Now, I am not anti-meds. If you need to take medication to live your best life, then I support that 100%. But I went to the therapist and she said, "Heather, you're not a depressed person. This is a depressing situation. You're not this is not supposed to be happy. You don't need medication. You just need a divorce." So, I think about that and we go through these phases and spaces in our life where we have to really practice what I call the 3 R's and the BRAVE method. Remember, the BRAVE method is my creative strategic approach to problem solving, dreaming, designing, building, and actually having a life that you love. It's what my book, Fuck Fearless, is all about. I break down the BRAVE method. Um, the 3 R's is reassessment, reframing, and resilience. And in order to stop identifying with your feelings, you have to practice consistently and regularly trusting this reassessment phase. What is working? What isn't working? How did I feel about how I spent my day, my week, my month, my year? Do I want more of this or less of that? What do I want to shift? What do I want to stop doing? Do I want to change this? And then resilience, which is the number one key indicator into whether or not a person will be successful. We learn that through the science of fabulous, fabulous Angela Duckworth. If you're not following Angela Duckworth on all the platforms, do yourself a favor and follow her. She's incredible. We can't be resilient, which means getting up and doing it again differently, if we're not aware, if we're not in the moment, if we're not paying attention to what our thoughts, choices, actions, and behaviors are. I call that taking radical responsibility for yourself. Showing up in a space where you are challenged in healthy ways is taking radical responsibility for yourself. Being honest about your feelings, allowing yourself to feel them and process them and move through them and not just shove them down and pretend they don't exist is taking radical responsibility for yourself. Asking for help, setting a boundary, saying yes, saying no to the right situation. So knowing what's right for you, that's taking radical responsibility for yourself. And it is so important that we pause to do that on a regular, consistent basis. Otherwise, we do think our feelings are facts. We think that they are a truth, that they define us, and they do not define you. They inform you. They're messengers, but they don't define you. And when you ignore them, it backfires because eventually you're going to be, like a teapot. It's just going to all explode. And I don't want that for you. We don't have to do that. So, in any of the spaces that I create in my Spark Collective, which is my membership, on my retreats, private group coaching, all of those things, we deal with everything as they show up so that we can be informed and learn from it and then move on and make the appropriate decisions for us in that moment, knowing that you can shift and change and alter along the way. Because the truth is, you're not stuck unless you choose to be stuck. But when we ignore our feelings, when we don't take intentional action, when we don't regularly reassess and reframe what's happening and figure out who we want to be and how we want to be and how we want to move through the world and take radical responsibility for ourselves, it backfires. We stop getting the growth that we want, the success that we want. We certainly don't lead from embodied joy because it's impossible to do so if you're not checking in with yourself, if you're not being thoughtful and intentional and taking radical responsibility for yourself. Because I have been in this little bitty funky space and I need to do all of the things that I'm sharing with all of you. There are a couple things I want to do before we close out today. I want to do my 4-7-8 breath work, which helps me tremendously. And I also want to do a quick EFT tapping. So if anybody wants to join along and do EFT tapping with me, you're welcome to. But before that, here are some actionable steps, some things that I want to share with you to help you work with your feelings instead of identifying with them, becoming them, letting them guide you. First, it's really powerful to pause and name them. I am feeling sad. I am feeling hurt. I am feeling frustrated. I am feeling angry. Identify those feelings. And then I want you to get curious with those feelings. Okay, why am I feeling sad? What's making me feel sad? What's making me feel angry? Why am I feeling upset? Right? Really dig in, peel back those layers. What is this feeling here to tell me? Can I learn from it? And is this feeling because of something I did? Taking radical responsibility for yourself. Boy, is that hard to do. Am I feeling angry or sad or frustrated or unhappy or whatever because I did do something specific or I didn't do something specific? Is it because of outside factors? Did something else happen that's leading to me feeling this way? We have to remember, and I say this, I think, every week. I say it all the time. I'm never going to stop saying it. The only thing in the world that you can control is yourself, your own thoughts, choices, actions, and behaviors. It does not mean that people don't do shitty things. It doesn't mean that bad things don't happen because they do. They do happen. When you're taking radical responsibility for yourself, you say, oh, this happened. Given this knowledge, who do I want to be in this moment? What do I want to be true in this moment? How do I want to behave in this moment? Take radical responsibility for yourself. Get curious about this. What is this message here to tell me? What is this feeling here to tell me? Maybe sadness is nudging you to slow down a little bit. That's certainly the case for me. Last night I totally slowed down, and I think I'm going to try and do a getaway tomorrow, just overnight. I know that I will be better in my own energetic cocoon where I can fully decompress and not have to have any responsibility for other people's energy. That works really, really well for me. Um, Perhaps anxiety is highlighting a place where you don't trust yourself. That's something really interesting. Anxiety. There's so much anxiety lately. And we can, if you have an open emotional solar plexus in your human design chart, you can pick up and amplify, you will pick up and amplify the energy of others. And anxiety is a really big one. This is where the EFT tapping, the breath work, the hypnosis, all of those things that I do with clients or in my Spark Collective or on my retreats, those things can really, really help you. And just the other day, subliminal audios too are great for slowing down. I have a one on one client and she's got a big situation coming up that's causing her to have a lot of anxiety. So I created a custom subliminal audio for her to listen to. I also have a whole catalog of human design focused subliminal audios. So if you know your human design and you are looking for ways to live aligned with that a little bit more. So when we're talking about getting curious, once you've gotten curious, then you can do something about it, right? The subliminal audio I've been listening to today is the Open G Center because I have been feeling lack of worthiness, lack of love, lack of being valuable in certain scenarios. And so I listen to the undefined G center subliminal audio, which helps me get realigned because you can have a defined center and be aligned or unaligned, and you can have an undefined center and be aligned or unaligned. Like that's, we move back and forth sometimes several times a day. So I've been listening to those. If you are curious about human design and you don't know anything about it, go pull your free human design chart on my website. So there's links in all my bio. Um, it's vickeryandco.com is the website, but there's a link in on my bio. Go to my human design page. You can pull a free human design chart. And then you can go down the rabbit hole on your own, or you can come to office hours and I can answer some questions, or we can do a deeper reading after you've pulled your chart. But I find those audios to be so super helpful. I created them because I was invited to build one for a client. She asked me to do a subliminal audio based on her human design chart. I loved that invitation. It felt expansive to me, and that's what prompted me to create this entire catalog, and I have used these audios a lot. So we have, type, strategy, authority, profile line, environment, all 9 centers defined and undefined. So it's very, very expansive. Okay, so you use tools like that after you've gotten curious, right? After you've said, "What is this feeling here to tell me?" And then once you've learned that lesson, once you've gotten that information, you wanna sit with it and let it move through your body. Somatic movement is great. Shaking, right? When you're doing shaking, you start with your hands and then your whole arms and your whole body, and then you're jumping up and down on your tiptoes. That is a beautiful way to move stuck energy through your body. I have been doing some really beautiful, very simple um, Chinese exercises to help me move through my body, shaking and moving. And if anybody wants those resources, I'm happy to share. I learned them on TikTok. That helps. EFT tapping, stretching, going for a walk, right? So you've gotten honest, you've been curious, and now you're finding ways to let that energy move through your body. And then it's time to reassess and reframe. Okay. All right. What do I want to do next? What intention do I want to make? What intentional action do I want to take? That's that radical responsibility piece. And maybe that's a difficult thing for you to do on your own, and that is okay. I want everyone to understand that sometimes we aren't the people that can hold ourselves accountable. Sometimes we are. Like, you are responsible for recognizing your own feelings and knowing how they make you behave and how it could impact other people. I'm very aware right now that my fuse is incredibly short. Don't ask me questions. I just need space to process all of these big emotions. And when I'm ready to re-merge into the world, I will make that clear. So I always say that you have the right to all of your feelings, but you have the responsibility to not make that somebody else's problem. So I do my best to set boundaries and communicate as clearly as possible. I hold myself accountable for that because nobody else can do it. Nobody else knows what you're feeling inside. We can't expect people to have that knowledge unless we've shared it with them. And that's so, so, so important. But beyond that, maybe you need a little accountability for taking intentional action, for listening to subliminal audios or doing EFT tapping or getting up and moving around or doing somatic movement. Maybe you need to take intentional action. Maybe it's time to write. You want to write it out. Maybe you want to journal. Maybe you want to ask for help from somebody else. The list could go on and on and on. And perhaps you need accountability for that. That is something that I do daily and consistently with and for my clients. Good coaches should be great accountability partners, right? Because we can't do the work for you. You have to do the work. If you guys have any questions, please chime in. I would love to hear your questions. I think at this point, I am going to do the quick breath work and a little stretching. I can feel it in my neck and shoulders that I need it. And we'll do some EFT tapping together. And then I'm going to say goodbye for this week. And hopefully I'll see you again next week. But please stick around if you want to do some somatic work and some subconscious reprogramming work. So first, I like to really, how often in the day do you need to stretch your neck and roll your shoulders? But we don't, because we're so in the moment and busy with everything that we're doing. We're so focused on getting it right all the time and not wasting our time. We don't realize we're tense and we're stressed. And so then we stop moving. This is one of my favorite things. Scrunch your shoulders up as high as you can. Oh, so high, so high, so high. We look ridiculous. That's okay. And then release it. What a beautiful drop that is. And then before I do my short breath work, I always do the Ho'oponopo prayer. So left hand over your heart, right hand over your left. Repeat after me, either out loud or in your mind. Thank you. I'm sorry. I forgive you. I love you. That is a prayer to yourself. It's actually something I love to do into my cup, into my water. Thank you. I'm sorry. I forgive you. I love you. And put that loving kindness intention into your water and then consume it. It's lovely. And you're consuming it, for a long time. Okay. So we're going to do my very quick breath work. When I work one-on-one with clients, we come in, we do that little stretching, we do Ho'oponopo, and then we do this very quick breath work. 4, 7, 8. 3 reps in through your nose for a count of 4, hold at the top for a count of 7, release through your mouth with a count of 8. It's very quick, but it absolutely shifts you out of a stuck space and into a more open-minded, exploratory space. And it gets you out of whatever was on your mind before you came into a sacred space that you really want to honor. So, you guys want to do it with me? All right, we're going to go in, hold, release. In, hold, release. Last one, in, hold, and release. I find that just shifts things so well for me. And because I need it, and often if it's something that I need, it's useful to share it publicly because somebody else might need it. I'm going to do some EFT tapping for feeling sad. So when you're doing EFT tapping, you tap on all of the meridian points. So we have the karate chop point. This is where we release the negative. And then we have the inner eye, the outer eye, under the nose, under the mouth, collarbone, under the arm, and top of the head. If you want, my nose is itchy, sorry. If you want to know more about EFT tapping, reach out to me anytime. There's some guided EFT tapping inside the Spark Collective. I do custom EFT tapping scripts and recordings for clients all the time. If you're looking for something like that, we can absolutely make it happen. And I'm happy to share the neuroscience behind how this actually works. But EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique, and that is what it is. So, all right, tapping for sadness. Tapping on the karate chop point, you can use either hand. Even though my heart feels really heavy and I feel deep, deep sadness, I know that that is a normal human emotion. It's safe for me to feel sad. It's okay. Even though the sadness makes it hard for me to function sometimes, I deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. Even though I'm a little frustrated about the sadness, it's okay. I'm safe. I'm allowed to be sad sometimes. I'm going to move through it, and I'm going to trust myself, and I'm going to love myself. Move to the inner eyebrow. This sadness, this sadness, this sadness. This sadness feels overwhelming right now. Moving to the outer eyebrow. It's okay to have a good cry. I'm going to let this sadness flow through me. And I'm going to understand what's causing me to feel so sad. And when I'm ready, I'll feel better. Under the eye. Even when I'm sad, I'm lovable. I'm worthy. Even when I'm sad, I make good decisions. Even when I'm sad, I'm a good person. It's okay to be sad sometimes. It's safe to feel my feelings. Under the nose. Some people do it like this. I'm ready to release this sadness and move through it, all in due time. I'm going to let this sadness flow through me. Give my body and my mind, my heart and my soul what it needs. I'll be patient with myself. I'll be curious with my feelings because I deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. Under the mouth. I am safe to feel all of my feelings. My feelings do not define me. My feelings are messengers. I'm only human. Moving to the collarbone. I can feel the sadness leaving and releasing. I allow myself space and grace. I deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. Under the arm. It's safe to release this feeling of sadness. It's safe to trust myself and my body and my intuition. I am worthy. I am lovable. I am valuable. Top of the head. Feelings are just information. Feel them. I move through them. I honor them. And I take care of myself in the process. Because I deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. You can gently stop tapping. I like to shake it out a little bit. Put my glasses back on so I can see you. How was that? Did you tap along? Did you like it if you tapped along? Have you done tapping before? I want you to know that I am here for you. I want to cheer for you. I want to support you. I want to see you win. Your wins are my wins. Your wins are our wins. When we lead from embodied joy, it doesn't mean that there isn't shitty stuff that happens. It means that we can still find hope and possibility and goodness amongst the rubble. We cannot focus on the negative and the icky all the time because it will suck all of the life out of us. And you are worthy of joy. You're worthy of rest. You're worthy of feeling your feelings and honoring them and moving through them. And I want that for you. So if there's ever anything I can do to support you in this journey, please reach out. I would love to. If you're curious about Costa Rica, we have a few spots left. Prices start at $2,900. It's going to be an incredible experience. I've been talking about it a lot. Anti-inflammatory food, which is, they call it eco comfort food. It's plant-based, gluten-free, dairy-free food, and I have never felt better in my life. And also, it was delicious. And I've traveled the world. I've eaten a lot of really good food. It was delicious food. The land is just alive with energy, and it's a special, special place. It's a retreat center right in the middle of the jungle. Love to have you there. If you're curious to know more, you want to talk about the Costa Rica retreat, reach out. If you want to join the Spark Collective, there's a link in my bio. $18 a month. Ways to show up for yourself in the cracks of your life. That's really important, right? 10 or 15 minutes a day, a couple times a week will make a difference. Learning how to deeply and completely trust yourself, grow your intuition, and learn to lead with embodied joy. I appreciate you all so much. Oh, do we want to pull a Create Brave card? I almost forgot. I usually do this, but I'm kind of distracted today. Create Brave cards are a deck of manifestation cards that I co-created with my friend Rachel Swanson. Manifestation isn't something that you declare and it magically happens. Manifestation is something that you declare and then you shift the way you show up in the world to make it happen. So let's just see what Create Brave card shows up for you today, for us today. Oh, shit, this is it. This is the card. Let's find out. Journey. How about that? I am in process. I am in process. I trust that my path will be made clear. Journey. So perhaps it's saying you're going on a metaphorical journey. Perhaps you're going to go on a real journey. Perhaps you're going to come with me to Costa Rica. I'm looking at doing a little mini journey tomorrow, maybe a bigger one. I'm feeling really deeply called for an out of country trip before Costa Rica in January. That became very clear to me this morning that I need to go away. Deja vu. Yeah, right. So, what does journey mean to you? I am in process. I trust that my path will be made clear. What shows up for you when you hear that word, when you see the card, right? What does it make you feel? Be honest with yourself, trust that process. I love the Create Brave cards. If you are in Chicago, you can buy a deck at the next Chicago Empower Breakfast. Would love to have you there. Hey, Jen, how are you? I sent you an email the other day. I have those in my books and my journals. At the Chicago Empower Breakfast, we meet the second Friday of every month. So the next one coming up is on September 12th. I would love to have you there. Or you can buy them from my website, the Create Brave cards, deck of manifestation cards. I love them. They are beautiful, they are fun, and they really help you kind of shake out of things. I am on the right path and I'm okay. Yes. Yes, Danielle, you are on the right path and you are okay. And you can change your mind. You can shift the path. Trust the process. Trust yourself. Thanks, everybody. I'm Heather Vickery, transformation coach, podcaster, speaker, author, and a fan. I'm your fan. I want to see you win. I want to celebrate your wins. I'll be back next Thursday for another episode of Live with Heather Vickery. You can join me on Tuesdays if you'd like to for Ask Me Anything office hours. And if you ever need anything else, I'm just so easy to find and reach anytime. Reach out, and I would love to connect with you. Thank you guys so much. Bye. Now I go through